This is a saying that has been around for many, many years. Penny wise and pound foolish. We want to talk a little bit about that. What does it mean?
Well, it's British, of course. It's like flat as pea on a plate, right?
Just
when referring
email
to
him
the
about that accent.
It was pretty
not
good.
Me,
It was like Cockney, right
you
around.
Like that?
Yeah, I did. So flat as pea on the plate. It means focusing on the little things instead of the big things.
Yeah.
And why do we do this when it comes to our money? It's easier. It is so much easier to go and find a cheaper carton of laundry detergent than it is to sort out your insurance. It is also more immediate. So every week you can save something at a store. If you save something on money, like on something big like insurance, that's a once-a-year victory.
Yeah.
And lastly, it's simpler. So the math of going into a store and they say you're going to save 15% if you sign up for our store card, you think, wow, I'm spending $100. That's like 15 bucks. And yet if you don't pay off the balance, the interest rate on that store card is almost inevitably higher than what it would be if it was just on a regular low-rate card.
Okay, all the reasons why we're not looking at the big stuff.
Yeah.
What should we be focused on?
So two caveats. Some people are living paycheck to paycheck, and so you'll listen to my tips and think he's insane. So I just want to acknowledge that some people are in dire straits. Secondly, what is relevant to you totally depends on your circumstances. Your kids are home, they're not, you're retired, you're not. It really depends on your family. But the number one thing for most people, the big stuff, is housing. It is your house. So if you think about how could I live more cheaply? Could I downsize early? Could I rent out a room to a student? Could I put my house on Airbnb? Could I live at my mom's for a year and just get rid of my house? I know some of you are thinking the therapy and the counseling that would be required to go live with my mother, and like the mixed martial arts lessons they would need in order to survive that. So, but just think about what the upside would be if you spent less on your home and also less on your mortgage. So one thing happens at renewal, and it's kind of funny, people renew like a 1950s robot. They just renew their mortgage and they don't really think about it. I want you to be like a 2018 AI-driven robot and do some thinking about that mortgage before you just automatically renew.
Because you should be looking for the best rates. You got to get out there and figure out what's going to work best for you rather than just rolling it over, right? Okay, after housing, what should be next on our list?
Transportation. And this is a hard one to reverse. So some of our viewers are like, oh, geez, I just bought a new car. Sorry about that, everyone. Well, it's depreciated. You can't just take it back. But think about if you are looking at a car, people say to me all the time, but the financing, it's 0% financing, doesn't care. You're still buying an asset that is $50,000 instead of $30,000 or whatever the difference is. So be very clear on what you need versus what you want. And for big commuters, some of them might say, listen, I need a good car because I'm commuting. I don't know about that. You want a great car because you're in it a lot. That's fantastic. But go in eyes open about what the trade-offs are that you're making. And I have no judgment. As you know, I don't have any judgment about the trade-offs. But if it's a new car and that means you can't pay off consumer debt or you don't go on a vacation or whatever it is, just elevate that in your thinking because all of these decisions affect one another. They don't occur in isolation.
We should do actually a whole car segment. Because the whole idea of leasing, is that better? If you buy a car that's like a little 3 years older, is that better? We should do a whole segment on that. But
I'll be here to do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next one is a little bit surprising. So you say we need to be focusing on our insurance.
Because either we're spending way too much or way too little. So too much because, for example, property insurance, you know, you sign it up and it's kind of just this thing that's perpetual. It's very rare for us to pause and say, what do I really need? Am I getting the bargain? So I finally did that after 23 years with the same broker. I finally was like, nope, I'm walking the talk here, and I'm now saving $600 a year, which is kind of embarrassing. Like, I'm a little embarrassed about it, but I finally made the call. So I was spending too much there, too little on insurance that will make a profound difference on your financial well-being over time. And you know, that looks a lot of in different ways for people. But if you have a child, life insurance is not even a conversation we should be having because it's so critical in terms of the financial well-being if something happens to you.
Absolutely. It took us a long time to get it, but when we did, we were very, very happy we did. Let's talk about investment fees. Very controversial, but you are getting charged on your investments, and you really have to stay on top of that.
And most people don't even know that they're paying, so you need to look at your statements and figure out what you're paying and whether or not you could be in lower cost mutual funds, you know, a robo-advisor, do-it-yourself, whatever it is, but that can take an enormous chunk out of your retirement, so definitely think about that.
Yes, it can. Good tips. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Think big.